In life, there is usually a starting point for most things that we do. In Peachtree, this would be the company file. In life, in business and accounting, there are also usually phases that we can go through that help us kind of organize and make sure that we set things up correctly. And again, the same is true in Peachtree. What we also know, though, is that regardless of how we get things established, often over time things change, and sometimes we just need to update. We also know that there are some types of transactions that don't just fit into the regular or normal way of doing things. In this chapter, we're going to explore several things. We'll explore how to create and work with the company file, how to set our default preferences, also how to work with something called the general journal, so when we have to do a transaction that doesn't quite fit into some of the other techniques that Peachtree has, we'll still have a way to properly account for them. With all of these things in place, you'll be ready to hit the ground running, as well as know how to update things when you need to, as you need to do them. If you are building your file along with me as I work through this course, you can simply keep that same company file open as we work. If you're just joining in, if you didn't follow all of the steps from the previous chapters, or if you simply want to start each chapter with a fresh file, you need to use a company file from the Project Files folder located on your desktop. Unlike other total training courses, the project files for this course are just a little bit different. Due to the complexity of Peachtree's file and database structure, as well as the number of files for each company, we found that we had to be a little bit more creative or unique for these particular project files. The project files are actually backup files for my working file. They simply need to be restored in order for you to be able to use them. For each chapter, you're going to open Peachtree, go to the File menu, choose Restore, and work through the wizard to choose the backup from the file folder that you're going to be choosing from the desktop. It's a fairly simple process. We do apologize that there are some extra steps beyond what you normally do for this type of training, but it's the best way we could accommodate distributing the materials that we needed to for the course. I'd like to go ahead and demonstrate how this restore process is going to work. I have Peachtree open, and I do not have a company file open. I'll go to the File menu, choose Restore, and this begins the Restore wizard. The first step is to choose your backup file. This is when you want to go to the desktop and choose the appropriate chapter folder from the Project Files folder. I'll start all the way at the top to make this easier to see. I'll go to the desktop, scroll down a little bit, choose my Project Files folder for Peachtree 2009, and then select the chapter folder that I need. There should only be one file that shows. It's going to end in .ptb, which is a Peachtree backup. It's the name of our company we're working with, Erlandessa Spa, followed by an underscore and the chapter number. In this example, Erlandessa Spa underscore chapter 4. Go ahead and double click the file. That'll bring you back to the wizard, and then you can click Next to move to the next step. This is actually a very important step. You need to select the company you wish to restore your backup files to. If you are only working through this course, if you do not have any of your own Peachtree files, you can leave the defaults. But I have to caution you, you do need to absolutely make sure that you're careful where you restore this file to. Because of the way the pervasive database in Peachtree works, it always wants to go back to a default folder. If you accidentally keep it on an existing company, and if you restore it to your default folders, you may overwrite your good company data. So let's go through this very carefully. I would recommend that you always choose a new company, not an existing company. It then is going to fill in the company name and the location from the backup. Remember that if you select to restore to an existing company, that you can browse to the directory and select a company to restore. But if you accidentally choose the wrong company, you could effectively delete your good company data. So again, my recommendation is to select a new company and then click Next. This stage has a couple of checkboxes. You must choose to restore your company data. This is going to be all of the information that you need. In addition, just to make these instructions consistent, I would like you to also select Customized Forms. That particular piece of information won't be important until later chapters in the course, but if you always check both of these boxes, then you'll be okay through the entire thing. If you do not choose company data, what you'll end up with is an empty file with no data in it. Once these are selected, you can click Next. This is going to go ahead and confirm everything that you said you've done. You do want to read it carefully. We're going to be restoring Erlandessa Spa. We can tell the chapter folder that's appropriate that we're going to be restoring from, and the default folder that we're going to be restoring to. Remember that this is going to be the default set by Peachtree, and without having to make you go in and change all of your configuration for Peachtree, this should be the same default location. Let me reiterate again that you do not want to overwrite a company file, so please make sure that you use all of these settings appropriately, and then click Finish. I'm not going to go ahead and restore because I'm currently working through the same company files that we're working with in the course. Once you click Finish, it will take just a few seconds, maybe a minute or so, to convert the file back. Then it will give you a confirmation, and you'll be ready to go.